how did it go?
No, I was not surprised that it was easy. I was surprised, however, how quickly and how easily I adopted it.
Also, are you wishing you chose a different hack?
Yeah, a little bit.
Productivity hacks are all over the internet, promising to save you time, boost your output, and leave you feeling more fulfilled at the end of each day. But do these hacks actually work? We tested out 4 popular ones to see if they're worth your time.
I will be reducing distractions, so I downloaded the cold turkey website blocker and installed it, the extension on my Chrome on my work computer this morning.
I'm doing the Pomodoro method hack, where you take a 5-minute break every 25 minutes that you're working, and after 4 intervals, you take a 15-minute break.
For this week, I will be creating lists. I did a comprehensive list of everything that I want to get done this week, jotting down notes of things that I wanted to accomplish. Some of that was work related, some of it was not work related. Then I made a mini list for what of these things needs to get done today.
So this week I'm going to not watch Netflix before bed, and I'm going to try reading, I think, instead.
When I'm feeling unproductive, that usually means I need to take a break. So I'll go outside, take a walk to clear my head, and then I'll come back. Sometimes that also means that there's a lot of distractions in my environment, for instance, social media. So sometimes I'll put my phone on airplane mode, or I'll actually turn off my Wi-Fi so that I can concentrate better.
I normally try to either go walk around, lay down for a while, kind of clear my head, and I try to kind of get everything flowing in that way. And the other big thing I do, I'm a huge list maker.
Sometimes I will log off of all the social media. I'll take like 30-minute spurts, or I'll time myself for 30 minutes, and for those 30 minutes I can't look at any social media, which doesn't sound like a long time, but it's a long time for me to go without looking at social media. Really just like hunkering down during the day.
I generally have a low-grade panic, and then I brainstorm or make lists. I am a list maker, a very informal list maker. It helps narrow my focus on what actually needs to get done. I find that often when I'm being unproductive, it's because I've become overwhelmed by the enormity of a particular project. And as opposed to breaking it down into small parts, I think about it in its totality, and that can be counterproductive.
I'm dreading it a little bit. I think it'll be good. I've blocked some of the big culprits, social media and things like that, but I'm a little bit worried that I'm gonna end up either in a situation where I have writer's block and kind of no place to go, or something like that. I generally don't subscribe to situations where I have to deprive myself. I don't like to diet. I don't like to do any of that kind of stuff. So I'm dreading it a little bit, but if it's going to make my work life a lot easier this week, then maybe I'll come around.
I think doing the Pomodoro method is gonna be a huge change to my normal workflow, because to be honest, I don't really take very many breaks when I'm working. Maybe to go get something to eat, but that's maybe only once every hour or two. So once every 25 minutes kind of sounds, I just wonder if it's gonna be disruptive or helpful.
Midway through the week, we checked in to see how everyone is doing.
And what's nice about having the list is that I'm no longer as frazzled as I usually am in the mornings. I no longer have the worry of what am I doing, in addition to just the morning haze. What's been interesting about being accountable with the list this week is I realize just how unproductive I can be, and how certain procrastinating behaviors that I thought were long gone in the past are very much alive. I've just somehow managed to not acknowledge them in my 30s. And I guess this is maturity. I procrastinate by doing other things that are tangentially related and make me feel like I'm being productive. I'm still doing work, I'm just not doing that one thing. So on Monday, I think I mentioned that I was having horrible writer's block, and like the lengths that I went to avoid sitting in front of the blank Word document was pretty amazing. And you really can't run away from it when the list is staring you in the face and you know exactly how much you've accomplished and how much you haven't.
I don't actually think I'm being that much more productive, if more productive at all. Taking a 5-minute mandatory break every 25 minutes to be a little bit disruptive, it just seems a little bit excessive.
Time to get back to work.
I don't think I need a 5-minute break every 25 minutes. I think maybe a 10-minute break every hour would be better. When you take a break, sometimes it can also take a little time to get back in the flow of what you're doing. So I actually find it to be a little bit disruptive. I do think that it's nice to give your eyes a break. And I think that maybe doing the Pomodoro method would have been a lot more helpful for me maybe a year ago when I was working in the office and I was working like 9 to 10 hour days and my eyes were just like dying of like dryness. But you know, nowadays I've been working from home. I don't work a lot of overtime at all. It's more relaxed.
It's going well. I am not doing the reading like I initially said I was going to. Instead, I'm doing the nighttime stories. I'm using the Calm app. And yeah, I feel like it's going well. It takes me a little bit longer to fall asleep, but I find that I don't wake up in the middle of the night to, you know, my laptop playing an episode of something, and I just have generally slept through the night pretty well the past 3 nights. That it's more just the initial, like that half hour before going to bed. I feel like I really have to concentrate on like listening to my calm story and resist the urge to like get on my phone or check my laptop. But once, you know, I get over that, I fall asleep and I've been sleeping through the night pretty well. Yeah, I don't know if I'm actually getting more done. I think it's more just like I'm not tired while doing the things I need to do.
Well, I really don't like it. I mean, it undoubtedly does its job. It has, at least in like a few days, it has broken me of the habit of constantly trying to go to some of the sites that I use a lot. But the problem is, you know, I have work that, you know, I kind of want to break from or whatever. And so I try to go to my go-to things. Those are blocked. So then I either find something else on the internet that I'm also going to enjoy, maybe a little bit less. Or if someone sends me something like a tweet or whatever, I'll end up looking at it on my phone. If I was doing a different kind of work that needed a lot of attention, a lot of it really intensive work, like if I was writing a thesis or if I was working in, you know, Excel for hours, something that I really needed to concentrate on, I can see how this would be really helpful. But what I'm experiencing is it's making things more frustrating for me.
For my last couple days, I tried to give this Pomodoro method one last shot. And honestly, like, for what I was working on, it didn't really help me at all. I think the task that I was working on, which was editing a video, just didn't lend itself to being broken up into 25 minutes. I mean, I could think about it that way, but it just didn't really help. You know, it was just like, okay, for the next 25 minutes, I'm gonna keep editing. For this next 25 minutes, I'll keep editing. And for this next 25 minutes, I'll keep editing. Like, it just didn't help. But I can definitely see how if you have a project maybe you're procrastinating on, it's hard to really get started, you keep getting distracted. It can be useful to be like, okay, I'm just gonna buckle down for this 25 minutes and then I have a 5-minute break.
I really didn't like the hack, and I felt as though it was kind of a hindrance. It just gave me something else to think about, something else that I had to be kind of spending brain power on. And, you know, as we said in our last conversation, I kind of ended up going to the sites that I had blocked anyway. I just went to them on my phone. Every once in a while, my brain just needs to kind of not be thinking about the task at hand. Especially, you know, if I'm doing writing and I get a few paragraphs in and I kind of can't figure out my way around a sentence or whatever, I just need to like focus on something else for a second and come back. So for me, I think it's actually kind of important to have some things to distract yourself with, just so you can kind of reset your brain every once in a while.
I think the week went well. I tried a few different things instead of television. So I know I said originally I would read, which I did that a couple days, but I also did the sleep time stories. I also, a couple days, was just really tired and just went to bed. But overall, I think I slept pretty well, and I slept like through the night better. I was surprised, I would think, the first few days at how little I wanted to read. It sounds good, like, oh, I'm going to read a chapter of a book before I go to bed. I generally enjoy reading and always try to be reading like a real book at all times. And I would sit in bed and look at my book and be like, no, I don't want to do that right now. So I think that it was harder, like it was almost hard to find an activity that I wanted to do. I don't know if I got more done, but I was less tired doing the stuff I was doing. So probably there were maybe less errors, or I was a little sharper, but I probably got the same amount done. Because something I don't feel the need to do is like take a little afternoon like cat nap, or I'm not like, the exhaustion doesn't sit in at 3 or 4 p.m. like it would before. So I could see myself, the longer I continue this habit, the more energy I might have.
Not only did it make me more productive, it made me happier. And that transferred over into the weekends too. At the beginning of last week, I was kind of miserable because I had one thing at the top of my list and it was taking forever for me to accomplish. And I was really trying to not let myself go too far into the list without tackling that one thing. I think I talked to you about that. Once I got past that, it really helped me take advantage of downtime. And I don't mean that in the way that like I was constantly working even when I was supposed to not be working. I just mean that, if I had gaps, it was easy for me to look at the list and say, okay, this is doable in this amount of time. I am going to keep doing this for as long as this habit lasts me. So I jump-started my New Year's resolutions with this. Not that this was on my New Year's resolutions list, but it makes me feel a little bit less pressure to come up with other stuff with which to change my life. My best advice to anyone who is looking for a quick and easy way to make himself or herself more productive is to know yourself, be honest with yourself. Don't go overboard and pick something that is out of your nature. I was already a list maker, and this challenge just changed the timeline or the way that I made my lists. I used to make them at the end of a task when I was already stressed or overwhelmed and I needed to break it down into smaller parts. And this prompted me to start creating lists well in advance of any projects that I might start, and that was very helpful. I did not have to reinvent the wheel for this hack. I think that kind of, if you're trying to reinvent yourself in a productivity challenge, it defeats the purpose.